So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be discussing Indian Express newspaper. Before that, I would like to tell you a small story. Years ago, there was this island, you know that there is this, when we are talking about the Pacific Islands, there is this island Fiji. And years ago, there, an elderly man has told the story to his son that story was not much about morals or the tradition, but it was about more about Hindi, because the story was told in Hindi. So the kid has asked him that why do we speak Hindi in the house, whereas English is the more prominent language which is there, which is spoken all around the world. So the elderly man has said that it is not about the language, it is not just Hindi. When we are talking about, this is not just a language, it is an expression, it is an bridge which is connecting us to our souls, or you can say it is a bridge which is connecting us to our roots. Now these family has shifted to Fiji long back from India and they still speak English. After a while in 1975 there was this convention which was held in Nagpur. In that convention from across nearly 30 countries people has came and they did not speak Hindi much, but they celebrated Hindi. And that is why today, that is 10th of January, we celebrate Vishwa Hindi Divas. So first of all, congratulations on that. And today we will be talking about the Hindi as well a little bit, and then we will be moving to the discussion over here. So in the fact with our fact of the day, we will be discussing about the Vishwa Hindi Divas today. Now let's start with the discussion. Herein we will be talking about visa issues with Afghanistan. Then we will be coming to the same sex marriages. Supreme Court has dismissed a petition recently. So we will be talking about what is the status of same sex marriage in India. Other than that, next is the top trends in India, US, China. Okay, so there was this article in the explained page which was talking about some of the trends. Now this was filled with facts, etc. But the thing is, what is important for us, there was a summary which is given. So we will be focusing on that particular summary. Okay, so that will be the, you can say, outline for our day. We will be talking about the fact of the day. Here we will be talking about the Vishwa, or you can say World Hindi Day, or the Vishwa Hindi Divas. Then geography through maps. Herein we will be talking about the hills and mountains in the central India. Okay, when we are talking about the Himalayas, etc., we have already covered. So we will be talking about the central India today, and in the next session we will be talking about the peninsular India. Okay, coming to the next one, here for your own read there will be one article, and in the end there will be a practice question which we will be discussing, which was given to you yesterday, and in the next slide there will be a practice question for today which you have to attempt. Okay. Now when we are talking about the issues with Afghanistan, we have talked about this particular, you can say, engagement with Afghanistan yesterday, and in continuation of that we will be talking about the issues of visa over here. Okay, so let's start with the discussion. Now before moving further, I would like to tell you that IAS GS Foundation course by Drishti IAS in offline batches is available at our new center, that is Noida Sector 15. For English medium, admissions are open. When we are talking about Hindi medium, the batch is starting from 16th of January, 11:30. So you can call on this number, that is 87501 87501. Okay. Now anyways, let's move further and talk about the other stuff. So herein we will be talking about the Vishwa Hindi Divas. Okay. Now you can see it was first celebrated in 2006 to commemorate the anniversary of the World Hindi Conference, which was held in Nagpur on 10th January 1975. As I told you that in that particular story, I told you that there was this person who is living outside. Now the thing is, why is that Hindi, which is basically, you can say, language of you can say our country, there are many people who are speaking Hindi. Now why is that a person in the Fiji is speaking Hindi, a person in Indonesia is speaking Hindi, or any other island if we are talking about? So there are various Caribbean islands, etc., where Hindi is spoken. So various diasporas are settled over there, and because of which Hindi has been taken across the world. Now to celebrate that, on 10th of January 1975 there was this conference, World Hindi Conference, which was, you can say, organized at Nagpur, and because of which on 10th of January we celebrate this World Hindi Divas, or you can say Vishwa Hindi Divas, since 2006. Okay. Now it marks the day when the Hindi was first spoken in the United Nations General Assembly in 1949. So this is also one of the fact which is there. Now this convention or this conference was to mark this particular you can say event, and after that we are celebrating it across years. Okay. it is also celebrated by Indian embassies located in various parts of the world. Now, this is the Vishwa Hindi Divas, and then we have a National Hindi Day as well. Okay, so that is your National Hindi Day, that is celebrated on September 14. Okay, now it is to mark the day of adoption of Hindi as the official language by the Constituent Assembly of India in 1949. So there are two different events which has happened. One, in UN, Hindi was first spoken. That was way back in 1949, and to commemorate that, we celebrate Vishwa Hindi Divas, and that was the day is 10th of January. Why? Because there was this conference which was held in Nagpur in 1975. Now coming to the next one, that is National Hindi Day, that is celebrated on September 14. That is the day when we adopted Hindi as a official language of our country. Okay. That is one thing. Other than that, later on we have also adopted you can say English as another official language. Okay, so that is something which you should remember. Hindi is also 8th scheduled language. When we are talking about the different schedules, you know that there are various languages which are there in the 8th schedule. There are 22 languages. Okay, and Hindi is one among them. Article 351 pertains to directives for the development of Hindi language, that is given in the constitution. Okay, so this is about Vishwa Hindi Divas, and let's move further and talk about some of the important aspects of the hills and mountains in the central India. Now here you can see this is your Aravalli range, which is there in Rajasthan, starting from Gujarat till it extends till you can say Delhi. When we are talking about this Raisina hills and all, they are actually remnants of the Aravalli hills as well. Now these are the oldest mountains which we can say in India. These are fold mountains, and you can say extending from Gujarat till Delhi, it is having this expansion. These are remnant because most of the mountains has weathered away. Okay, so that is thing. When we are talking about the you can say highest peak etc., so that is Guru Shikhar, which is there in Mount Abu. Okay, so it is there in Sirohi district of Rajasthan. There is this Mount Abu, and there is Guru Shikhar, which is the highest peak. Okay, so that is one thing which you can remember. Now coming to the next one here, little bit south of that, you will be seeing that there are two mountain ranges which are going parallel to each other. One is your Vindhyas and second is your Satpuras. This is your Vindhyas, this is Satpuras, and in the valley region there will be this river, that is Narmada. Okay, so that is important for you. So that is another factor which was important from this particular point of view. Moving further, here you can say when we are talking about this Vindhya ranges, you will be seeing that there is this extension which is over here. Now these are called as the Kaimur hills, okay, which is there in the Bihar region. Okay, now over here this is the Vindhya range, and in the north part of that there are Vindhya escarpments which is also there. Coming to the next one here, little bit south of the Kaimur hills we have Sonpar hills. Son river is there, so Sonpar hills are there, which is over here. And in the vicinity of that, or in the little bit south, we have Milan hills, which are not quite famous, but you should remember that. Okay, then we have the Mekal range as well, which is there in the central India. Then here you can see this particular portion over here, that is the Garjat hills. Now this area is basically of your Chota Nagpur plateau. Okay, so that is you should remember. Now one part here is Ramgarh hills. Okay, another part over here of the plateau is Rajmahal hills, Garjat hills. These are there in this particular area. Now when we are talking about this Rajmahal hills, this is basically your Nagpur plateau, and these are the Rajmahal hills. You can say that these are escarpments or one end of the plateau. Okay, so there is this Rajmahal hills, then you know that there is this Garo Rajmahal gap, and then we have Garo Khasi and Jayantiyas. Okay, so that is about it. Then coming to the Odisha region, we have Odisha hills, then Garjat hills. We have already seen that. Over here you can see this is Nayagarh hills. Okay, because of the mining sector that has been in the news various times, so that is there. Coming to the other part over here, when we are talking about the regions of Maharashtra and all, you know that Satpuras are also there. Then here you can see these are Vindhyas, then there are Satpuras, and after Satpura we have these Satmala hills as well. Okay, not very famous, but still this is there, Satmala, which is there. Then these portion over here, that is your Ajanta range, Ajanta Ellora, you know that Ajanta range is there. Okay, then moving a little bit south, you will be having this Balaghat range. Okay, here this particular portion is your Harishchandra range, which is there. So these are some of the important ranges which are there in the central Indian region. Now again I will tell you Aravalli, that is having Mount Abu, wherein Guru Shikhar is there, that is the highest peak. Then coming to the Vindhya escarpments, Kaimur hills, which is extension of the Vindhyas hill, which is there. Then we have Satpuras in the you can say the valley region. We will be having Narmada valley. Then Gauli Garam hills which is there, that is not very important. Then here Mahadev hills, that is when we are talking about the Satpuras, little bit south of that we have Mahadev hills as well. Mekal we have already talked about, Milan we have talked about, Sonpar we have seen, we have talked about the Rajmahal hills, Ramgarh hills, Odisha hills, Garjat hills, Nayagarh hills, Balaghat, Ellora and the Harishchandra ranges. Okay, so that is about it. Some of the important facts has been given over here. When we are talking about the Aravallis, we have already discussed that Aravallis are the one of the oldest mountain range in the world, formed during the Proterozoic area. Okay, era. When we are talking about the Mount Abu, you know that this is a popular hill station in Rajasthan, and the highest peak is Guru Shikhar. Then comes Vindhyas. When we are talking about this Aravalli range, you know that Aravalli range is in Rajasthan, Haryana and Gujarat. And when we are talking about the Mount Abu, that is there in Rajasthan, Sirohi region, and Guru Shikhar is also there in Sirohi. Then coming to the Vindhyas, Vindhyas is a range of mountains which is there in Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Satpuras are there in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Gujarat. Then coming to the next one, Satmala Hills, that is there in Maharashtra, Harishchandra range in Maharashtra, Ajanta range in Maharashtra, Balaghat range in Madhya Pradesh. That is an important name. Balaghat region is famous for the minerals as well. Okay, so that is also an important mineral rich region over here. Then coming to important aspect over here is manganese and the bauxite deposits in the Balaghat. Then coming to the Gavilgarh Hills, which is there in Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, Mahadev Hills, these are there in Madhya Pradesh. Mekal ranges which is there in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. Coming to the next one, Vindhya Escarpments, these are Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Kaimur Hills which is there in Bihar, I have already told you, and some part of Uttar Pradesh as well. Milan Hills, Chhattisgarh. Sonpar Hills in Bihar. Rajmahal Hills in Jharkhand, we have talked about that. Then we have Ramgarh Hills, that is there in Jharkhand, Odisha Hills in Odisha, Garjat Hills in Odisha and Nayagarh Hills in Odisha. So this Nayagarh region is also important for you. Okay, and when we are talking about this particular region of Odisha and Jharkhand, you know that that is important because of the mineral deposits sector. Okay, now let's move further and start with the first article of the day. Now we have yesterday seen that why Afghanistan is very important for India. When we are talking about, I am not very good with the maps, but you know that this is the Gujarat regions, and when we are talking about this region, you know that we have Gwadar port over here, and then we have Chahabar port over here. Somewhere around here, this is Pakistan, this is how Afghanistan is located, and this is Iran. Okay. Now when we are talking about the location of Afghanistan, if we have to go to Central Asia over here, you can say Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, all these countries are there. If you want to go over here, you have to cross Pakistan and then Afghanistan, and then you will be going to the Central Asia. Even if you want to go for the trade with Russia as well, that can be the route which can be taken. Now because Central Asia is important for India, so because of the energy security, that is a mineral rich region we can say. So you know that when we are talking about the Pamir plateau is there, or Pamir knot is there, so that is the region which is having some kind of deposits as well. So considering that if we are talking about the Central Asia is important for us, then Afghanistan becomes important because the route is going through that. Pakistan we cannot take a route because our ties are not very good, so we have taken a route from Iran, then Afghanistan, and then to maybe in Russia as well. So that is why Afghanistan is quite important. But the problem is that right now there is a government which is of Taliban. Taliban has been considered as an extremist organization earlier because Taliban was against USA playing in Afghanistan. So that is why we were also not in favor of Taliban earlier, because we were supporting USA over there. We were supporting a democratic government over here that was under the President Ashraf Ghani. So that was the case. And after that, USA has left Afghanistan, and then Taliban came into power. Now our dilemma is that whether we should go for the diplomatic relations with Taliban or not, because that is an extremist organization. But the problem is, the fact of the reality is that this is now in the government, and if you want to have access to Afghanistan, it is important for us to have a friendly relation with you can say Taliban as well. Now that is why recently there was this engagement which has happened at the level of the foreign secretary level. Earlier these engagements were at the joint secretary level. So there is this upgrade which has been seen recently. Now Afghanistan is saying that you should give us the you can say official recognition to the government over here. Now Delhi is quite reluctant in doing so, but Delhi has said that we are open to the engagement, we are open for the development related you can say initiatives in Afghanistan, but recognition is not till in the talks. But here one aspect which they have been asking, that you grant visa to the Afghans. Okay. Now when we are talking about the relations with Afghanistan, we had very cordial relations. So we had this people to people connect as well. We had the students which are coming from Afghanistan living over here, studying over here. We had medical tourism as well. So considering that Afghan people are connected with India, and because of the Taliban government over here, our embassies was you can say closed, and that is why the thing was that there is no agency which is granting visa over there, and that is why they are saying that grant visa to Afghan student, patients and the businessmen Taliban urged to India. Now we will see what is the issue and what India is thinking about it. Now see, Taliban urged India to grant visa to Afghan businessmen, patients and the students. India's security concerns. India remains cautious due to the security threats flagged by the intelligence agencies regarding Afghanistan visa seekers. Okay, why is that there is a security threat? Obviously because we are not very trusty, we are not trusting Taliban so easily. So that is one of the thing. Other than that also, if we are thinking about this particular area of you can say Pakistan and Afghanistan, if there is some kind of terrorist activity which is harbored by Afghanistan, okay, so there can be a security challenge as well. So considering that, we are quite reluctant right now, we are reluctant to it, though what it takes is that we should have a mutual trust. Once this mutual trust is there, there might be a thing that we might go for these things. Okay, India's security concerns. India remains cautious due to the security flagged by the intelligence agencies regarding the Afghan visa seekers. Then after the Taliban took over in Afghanistan in August 2021, physical Indian visas for the Afghan nationals were cancelled. India introduced an e-emergency X miscellaneous visa category allowing limited online visa applications. Okay, physical applications are not there because our you can say agency is not there in Afghanistan right now in Kabul. Then coming to the next one, that is e-emergency X miscellaneous visa. This is an online kind of visa you can apply online in the cases of emergencies. Okay, so that has been introduced by India. Now challenges in granting visa. First, Afghan students face hurdles in resuming education in Indian universities because they are not getting visa. That is one thing. Second is Afghan patients and the businessmen especially seeking medical treatment are impacted by the restrictions. That is second thing. Pakistan hostility towards Afghans has increased demand for the visa to India. Now you know that Pakistan's hostility towards Afghans, so that is that Pakistan is not letting them in. Okay, so if Afghanistan or a person from Afghanistan has to move somewhere over here, they see India as a safe place. Okay, so that is one of the reason that visa demand has been increasing. Coming to the next one, what is India's response over here? So Foreign Secretary Misri has highlighted India's readiness to assist with the development needs of the Afghan citizens. They are saying that we are assisting you with the development, but right now reopening India's consulates in Afghanistan for visa processing remains a diplomatic and the political challenge. We are not yet going for that. Okay, so that is something which we had to discuss with respect to visa issues with Afghanistan. Other than that, what is our security related issues? What are the issues in the engagement? All these things we have talked yesterday. If you have not watched that, you can go and watch that. The first portion was the Afghanistan related as well. Okay, now let's move further to the next one, that is Supreme Court rejects review of its order that had said no to the same-sex marriages. Now if you are talking about today's newspaper, you will not be seeing much news which has been covered. Okay, there was this economic news which was there, that is related to gold pricing sector. That is a daily news. If we are starting to cover that daily news, then it will be problematic for us. Okay, we have to make sure that how much data we are gathering over there. So that is why I have not covered that particular news. We will be making sure that if there is a comprehensive article with respect to the gold prices sector, so we will be covering that. Okay, otherwise that gold imports are something because of which our imports are increasing. All these things are there, we have discussed earlier. Other than that, also issues are related with the rupees. When we are talking the value of rupee, that is also there. We have discussed that various times, so that is why that article has not been covered. Okay, other than that, there was this economic article which is talking about the various perspectives throughout the 2025. What are the expectation from the 2025 with respect to India, US and China? So we will be summarizing that, we will be talking about that, we will be giving a passing reference, because again this is something which is not concrete. Okay, this will change if the situation changes with the geopolitics. All these things will be changing, but we will have an overview of it. Right now, when we are talking about the Supreme Court's this particular rejection of this plea, you will be seeing that this is the article from the page 1. but nothing concrete has been given in this article. They are saying that there was this judgment which has been given by the Supreme Court on the same-sex marriage earlier in, I guess, 2023, and recently there was this petition which has been filed that there was some kind of inconsistency which is there, and Supreme Court has to go for the review, but Supreme Court has dismissed the petition. Supreme Court rejects review of its older order that has said no to same-sex marriage. So right now, what is the condition, what is the legal precedent in India with respect to the same-sex marriage? That is not allowed. Okay, you can have homosexual relations, okay, you can have same sex relations, but you cannot marry, okay, because there are various concerns with respect to the legalities when we are talking about the adoption, when we talk about the inheritance, when we talk about the divorce related aspects. All these things are there when we talk about the maintenance related aspects. Okay, most of the time you will be saying that the when we are talking about the cases of the maintenance, most of the time male will be responsible for giving the maintenance to the female. Okay, now when we are talking about the same sex marriage, if both are female, then who will be responsible for the maintenance? All these kind of issues were there, and considering that, they have said that right now we do not have a ready-made legal framework for that, and that is why they did not allow same-sex marriages in the earlier order. Now let's see. The Supreme Court of India dismissed review petition seeking to reconsider its order from the October 17, 2023 decision rejecting the legalization of the same-sex marriage. Now, this is the majority. It was 3:2 judgment which was there, and in the majority they have said that they are not allowing it. But in the minority, D.Y. Chandrachud has given one of the concept, that is civil unions. So we will be talking about the civil unions as well, that what it is. But still, in India, neither same-sex marriage or the civil unions which is allowed. Okay, so that is not allowed in India. Now let's see. The review petition argues that the judgment suffered from the errors apparent on the face of the record and was self-contradictory and manifesting unjust. However, the court found these claims unsustainable, and that is why they have rejected the petition. The majority judgment stated that marriage is an unenforceable social contract, and the constitution does not obligate the state to recognize a civil union or the same sex marriage. So we have discussed that. That was the majority judgment which has been given in that particular, you can say, judgment in 2023. Now Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, in his minority view, expressed support for the recognizing a right to civil union and same sex relationship, arguing that this should be the part of the right to life and the personal liberty under the constitution. He has said that this should be the part of right to life, because earlier in one judgment it was said that right to marry a person of your choice is a fundamental right under Article 21. Now similarly, if you are saying the person of your choice, that means that you are allowing the same sex person as well. So considering that, they have said that this can be a fundamental right, but this is a minority judgment, you don't have to worry about it. Right to civil union and the same sex relationship, arguing that it should be part of the right to life and the personal liberty. So that is there. Now coming to what is civil union. Same-sex marriage, we understand that if both the people are from the same sex and they want to be in a marriage, that is same-sex marriage. Now coming to the civil union, what is a civil union? A civil union under a Special Marriage Act is a legally recognized union between two individuals, regardless of their caste, religion and nationality. Okay, so here the three elements which has been used here, one is caste, religion and nationality. Okay, here sex is not been used. Okay, so that is why right now we do not have civil unions when we are talking about the same sex relations. Okay, coming to the next one, it also refers to the legal status that allows same sex couple specific rights and responsibilities normally conferred upon the married couple. Now when we are talking about the civil unions, obviously if there is a Special Marriage Act and if you are having these criteria, you can directly go for a marriage. Okay, but when we are talking about the civil unions, these are not marriages. Okay, this is just a right that you are having on the par with the marriages, like you will be getting some of the benefits of the marriage over here. Okay, so here it also confers the legal status allowing same sex couples specific rights and the responsibilities normally conferred upon the married couples. Okay, so that is there. This type of union allows couples to have a formal, legally binding relation without going through the traditional ritual and customs of the religious or the cultural marriage ceremony. So they are saying that they allow couple to have a formal, legally binding relationship. There will be some kind of benefits which are arising out of the marriages, but these are not traditional marriages. Okay, so that is there. Again, here I am telling you that in India this concept is not valid. This right has not been given. Okay, I am just telling you what these civil unions are. Okay, coming to the next one, although a civil union resembles a marriage, brings with its employment and inheritance, property and the parental right, there are some differences between the two. Okay, when we are talking about the marriages and the civil unions, these civil unions are giving you some kind of benefits. They are giving you rights like inheritance, property, all these benefits are being given. But the thing is, there are, essentially some differences are there. Okay, so marriage is different, civil union is different. In India, we do not have such concept as of civil union as of now. Okay, this is just a minority judgment, a minority view, and which I am telling you over here. Now, let's move further to the next one. Pravasi Bharatiya Divas in Bhubaneswar. We have talked about the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. If you have not watched a video, we have made a special video on the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. You know that why we are celebrating Pravasi Bharatiya Divas? Because, there was a cold January morning. There was this person who is coming with a ship, and that has docked to the Mumbai ports, and ultimately that person went, after 20 years, he has come to our country. He was living outside the country and fighting injustice in South Africa, and now he was ready to do it in our country, and that person was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Okay, you know that Mahatma Gandhi, he came from South Africa on this particular day, that is 9th of January 1915. Okay, so basically that is why we celebrate Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. Okay, as he came back to India and he started to give their contribution to now to commemorate the contribution of the diaspora, we celebrate Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. Earlier that particular day was celebrated every year from 2003. They have started celebrating Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, but recently after the new government, they have actually changed it to every 2 years. Okay, so that is there. Now I will be telling you some of the passing references, some of the mentions which has been done by the Prime Minister in his speech, and that can be important for your examination. First thing is that world's future is in Buddha and not Yuddha. Okay, so basically they are talking about peace. When we are talking about Buddha is the representation of the peace, and Yudh is basically war. So they are saying that war is not a solution, peace is. Okay, be it Russia-Ukraine war or be it Israel-related issues, they are saying that Buddha is the solution and not Yudh. Now coming to the next one here, the future is not in Yudh, that is war, but in Buddha, that is Lord Buddha, who is symbol of peace. Now Ashok, you know that after the Kaling war, Ashok has actually celebrated Buddhism. Okay, so here you can say when there was a race to conquer the world with the power of swords, Emperor Ashoka chose the path to the peace at Dholi. Okay, now this place Dholi, that becomes important for you, that is there in Odisha. This is the place where Ashok has embraced Buddhism. Okay, so Dholi, please remember this. This can be asked from your art and cultures point of view as well. Okay, it is given over here, Dholi, which is there in Odisha, the host of the convention right now. That is the Odisha is the host and Bhubaneswar is the place. Okay, now Dholi is the state. Dholi in the state is the symbol of peace because Ashoka has embraced Buddhism over here. Okay, now coming to the next part over here, Girmitiyas, the indentured labor who left India in the middle and the late 19th century. These Girmitiya laborers or the Girmitiya people, they will have been taken from India to the other parts of the world for the, you can say, labor in the plantation and the cultivation areas. Okay, so that is why they had been taken by the Britishers over there, and now they are settled over here. They are a prosperous community as well. Okay, so that is why this term Girmitiya has been used, Dholi has been used over here. Coming to the next one, Saudi royals and doctors, Saudi royals, doctor and Japan CEO among the 27 who got the awards. Here we are having this Pravasi Bharatiya Samman award. Okay, so this time they are giving 27 people, and the organization such Samman, by this will be confirmed by our President Draupadi Murmu. So that is basically, you can say, one of the things that Pravasi Bharatiya Samman award has been given on this particular day, that is Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. Now here, when you are talking about this award, this is the highest honor conferred on the overseas Indians, non-resident Indian person of Indian origin, or the organization established and run by them. Okay, as a part of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas convention, a jury headed by Vice President will be finalizing the name. So this particular paragraph becomes important, that this particular award is the highest you can say honor which is conferred upon the overseas Indians, and this will be chosen by, or you can say the list of the awardees will be made by a committee which will be headed by the Vice President, and award will be conferred by the President over here. Coming to the next one, Ramayan's Global Connect on display. When we are talking about this particular you can say exhibition which was there, the name is Vishwaroop Ram, the universal legacy of Ramayana. Okay, so herein various artifacts has been bought by, you can say, various countries. So here a life size pinata of Ravan procured from Mexico, a Ravan Hatha, the musical instrument said to be played by the mythological figure, brought from Sri Lanka, Ramayana puppets and the paintings from Indonesia, idol of Ram and Hanuman from Fiji. So these are the countries where diaspora is living. They are having connection with the Ramayana as well. Okay, so that is there. You can see Mexico, then Fiji, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, all these countries has been mentioned over here. So that is about the Ramayana's global connect. Okay, now coming to the next article. Center links farmer ID to PM-Kisan makes it a must for new applicants. Simply, the farmer's ID is there, that is basically the record which is having some kind of connection with the land. Now that particular, you can say, farmer's ID has to be connected with the PM-Kisan. The center has made it mandatory for the new applicants to obtain a farmer ID for enrollment into Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi to get the benefits under the scheme. Now what is farmer ID? So basically the land on which you are cultivating. Okay, so there will be a geotagged ID that this land belongs to a farmer. Now that is basically a proof that this land is of that particular farmer. And now we are going, moving towards the digitization. Okay, so that is why that you can say that is there, as it receives about 2 lakh new applications every month. When we are talking about this PM-Kisan, every month there will be 2 lakh new applications, and that is why they have taken it as a convergence of 2 schemes. And you can see that you will be attaching this farmer ID with the PM-Kisan. This farmer ID guarantees that the applicant farmer owns the land, and thus the PM-Kisan registration process would be vastly simplified. Okay, so when there is a farmer ID, that means that you have a land. If you have a land, then you will be eligible for the PM-Kisan. Okay, so PM-Kisan, when we are talking about, that there is this 6,000 rupees which has been guaranteed by the central government in different installments that will be given to the Kisan for their, you can say, various crop cycles. Okay. So here you can say it will ease the process for farmers to avail themselves the benefits of the central scheme. All new applicants for the PM-Kisan scheme will have to get registered with the farmers registry and provide their farmer ID in the application form. Come into force in the 10 states from the 1st January 2025. Remaining states will be added later. 10 states here are, you can say, Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. Nearly 84% of the farmers are living in these states. So these are the 10 states where we are starting this scheme right now. Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, which has been mentioned over here, so it is a transfer of amount 6,000 rupees per year in 3 equal installments of 2,000 rupees to all the land holding farmers, irrespective of the size of their land holdings. Okay, so here there's one condition is that all the land holding farmers. How would you know that you hold a land? And that is why this farmer ID will be used. Okay, the scheme was launched in 2019, and here you can say it is a central sector scheme with funding from government of India. When we are talking about the central sector scheme, the funding will be 100% from the government. Okay, implementation will be from the government. When we are talking about the centrally sponsored schemes, so in the centrally sponsored scheme, what will happen is that the center will be giving some kind of fund. Okay, there will be a ratio between the center and state. There will be a ratio in which the fund will be given. Let's say 60 will be given by the center and 40 will be given by the states, and states will be going for the implementation. That is centrally sponsored scheme. When we talk about the central sector scheme, all the work will be done by the government and the funding will be given by the central government over here. Now coming to the next one, it is being implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture and the Farmers Welfare, obviously. Then the entire responsibility of the identification of the beneficiaries is with the state government or the union territory government. Okay, so I hope that is clear. This is about the linking the farmer ID with the PM-Kisan, and these are some of the facts related to PM-Kisan. Now coming to the economy related part, there was this big article which is there, which you do not have to go with, or if you have time, that is your choice. There are some graphs which has been given, so you can go and check these graphs at least. Okay, now in the graphs they have said that there are some kind of patterns which is saying that India's economy will do good, USA's economy will jump over there, China's economy will start to do good. Okay, so all these things are there, but we will be talking about the key takeaways which has been given over here. This is basically prediction summaries. Okay, so let's see the reversal in the recent pattern of the US dominance. Okay, recently you must have seen that stock market recently FPIs were shifting towards USA. Okay, so that was one thing which was you can say that the US has the dominance. Why? Because China's economy was not doing good. India, we have recently saw that the FIIs or the FPIs were moving outside our country, and that is why they were investing in USA. But now they are saying that can be a reversal in the pattern. Okay, so that is one thing. Second is the fiscal deficit is America's fatal flaw. Now already there are fiscal you can say deficit which is there, and after the Donald Trump's election they are saying that they will be going for the sanctions. If they are going for the sanctions, that means that the another country might go for the sanctions as well. So ultimately there are high chances that they will be facing the fiscal deficit, or you can say there will be high fiscal deficit when that thing will be there. Other than that also, when we are talking about the USA is spending a lot on the wars outside the country. When we are talking about Israel, when we talk about the Ukraine, etc. So they are spending money over there as well, and because of which there is a fiscal deficit which is there. Now America will look less exceptional. Growth rate was, when we are talking about America, that was somewhere around 3%. Growth rate will come off the boil rather than remaining close to 3%. It's been for the last couple of years. Okay, so there are chances that America will also come with the other countries, par with the other countries when we are talking about the growth. Then coming to the next one, new stars are going to emerge. Now when we are talking about the global supply chain, etc., when you are not going for the China, or if China is not able to provide for some of the things, okay, or you are reluctant that you don't want to buy from China, in that case there is this alternative should be available. Recently, the country like Bangladesh, countries like Vietnam, they are coming out. Okay, so new stars might come in the future as well. Okay, India can also fill that particular void if we act timely. Okay, so that is there. China is becoming investable again. Earlier, as I told you, China was, economy is not doing well, and because of which the you can say investments were going out. Okay, now China is becoming so cheap right now because China is focusing on the exports now. Okay, the you can say demand in the economy is less, or you can say consumption demand in the domestic economy is less. They are focusing on the export. Second thing is, China has given various economic impetus or the incentives, or you can say some kind of money has been infused in the economy, and because of which China's economy is being cheaper, and if it is cheaper, that means it is investable. Okay, so that is there. Here you can say the economy may not be booming or even doing fine, but it is so cheap that it is investable, and several diamonds in the rough there. So basically what they are saying is that the economy is basically getting cheaper, and since it is cheaper, more people might be, you can say, investing into it. Simple logic, you can say that if you are going for the some kind of stock prices and all, there is a bond or there is a share. Okay, economy was not performing well, and because of which the price of the share was going down. Okay, but then that price of the share has gone so down that it has become cheap, kind of cheap, and you will be seeing that the China has infused money recently. Okay, so there will be some kind of boom which will be seen. If not boom, that you can say that some kind of positive signs which will be seen, since the shares are cheap. That is why these are investable. People will be investing over here. They can take small risk over here. Okay, then that is there. Coming to the next one, overspending. Sorry, in India, small will not no longer be beautiful. When we are talking about the funds, mutual funds, etc. and all, so small and mid caps. Small and mid cap, they were basically quite famous in the recent days because they have performed well in the last few years, but there are high chances that they might not be performing well in the future. Okay, so the better suitable option will be to go for the index funds or the large cap funds. Okay, so that is there. Then overspending on the AI will hurt the big tech firms. We are overspending on the AI. We are thinking that AI will give a fortune, but the thing is there is a limitation. Okay, there is a saturation which might come, so that has been discussed over here. They are overdoing it. Returns may not be commensurate with the spend on the AI. Valuation may be questioned if the profit don't grow as significantly. Coming to the next one, global trade will grow without America. So we have already talked about it. If global trade, they are talking about the trade over here, and America is going for the protectionism. So that is the thing. America might not be part of the, you can say, trade over here, because of the various issues. Because recently you showed that with the Panama, they have had this issue that they might take over the Panama. Recently Donald Trump today or yesterday they have said that they might take try to gain access to the region of the Mexico and the base around there. So that is also there. Other than that, they said that they want to purchase Greenland. So they are going up with these radical statements that might impact the trade and the relations with the other countries as well. Now private funding will slow down globally. When we are talking about the India, when we have talked about the estimates in India, we have seen that there are high chances that private companies are not going for the investment. Why? Because the market sentiments are not in favor. When we talk about the global scenario, you know that geopolitical situations are not in favor. There are various wars which are going on. Then there is a trade war which is anticipated between India, USA, China, etc. So because of which you can say private player might not be going for the investments. Then coming to the next one, no magic solution to the obesity epidemic. So there was this drug which was to, you can say, solve the issue of the weight gain or obesity. So that is there. That is not very important. If you want, you can go through this. The name of the drug is Ozempic. So that was there. Anyways, so this is the prediction summary with respect to the India, USA, China. We have talked about it. That is enough for you to have a broader picture of the global economy. Okay. Now let's move further to the next part over here. That is for your own read. There is this article, after Ram Temple, another landmark for Ayodhya in pipeline, Ram Katha Museum. So they are coming with the Ram Katha Museum in Ayodhya. So if you are interested, you can go through this article. Now, passing reference to this particular thing, that is Meta's fact checking snub in USA sets alarm bell ringing fact checking in India. Now this article should be before, but the thing is some kind of rearrangement might have happened. Anyways, when we are talking about Meta, you know that this is a company under Mark Zuckerberg, okay, and there are various like Instagram, Facebook, and you can say Thread. All these things are there. Now there was this earlier, there was this concept of fact checking, okay, so there was this third party fact checking which is there. Now they are saying that they will be removing that fact checking by the third party. They will be coming up with a more community driven system. Community driven system means that they will be relying on the community or the users, okay, that they might check that and they might provide their input, okay, on the platform that is X or the Twitter, okay. So there was this post. If you have put a post on the X, okay, there is an option that you can go for the community comment or the community input, okay. So if you are thinking that this particular fact is not right, you can mention in the comment section that there will be this community input, and then you will be mentioning that this is not right or something like that. So they are saying that they might go on that particular model. Now the problem is that in India there are various people who are involved in that. There are nearly some of the firms are big firms are there, and some small firms are there which were doing the fact checking for the Meta. Okay, now Meta is saying that they might discontinue with that. So there are some of the concerns which is there. So that is all from this particular article. Now from the if we are talking about the editorial, see, engaging Taliban, we have already talked about this in various length and all. Then a reason to talk, this is also Taliban. If you want to go through these articles, you can do, but otherwise we have almost covered it. But the thing is, when we are talking about this article, as I told you, that there is no substitution for the editorial reading that will broaden your spectrum. So you have to go through the reading. Don't make any notes, etc. Just go through the reading. If you like some of the lines, you can just let's say if there is some paragraph which you like really, it is scholarly written and the language is very good. So you can take those lines, note it somewhere, and use it in your mains answer writing, etc. Otherwise, you don't have to make notes out of it, because obviously that will be covered in your current affairs, etc. So these two articles has been discussed already when we are talking about yesterday's session of Taliban, India engagement, and today's session. Okay. Then coming to the next one, Musk and the Zuckerberg. This issue is basically of the Meta, which we have discussed over here. When we are talking about Musk, that is the owner of your X. Okay. So that is there. Zuckerberg, that is owner of Meta, and Meta is moving on the lines of the X, because they have said that they will be going for the community driven system. So that is there. Okay. So that is about the editorials. Now for your practice, there was this question which was given to you, that is, what is the capital of Greenland? Option A is your right answer, that is Nuuk. Okay, so you can remember that. And for today's practice, there is this question, how often the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas celebrated as a convention? Every year, every 2 years, every 3 years, every 5 years. Okay, so you can attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I will be taking your leave. Sir, आज हिंदी एनालिसिस नहीं आएगा क्या? We might not be doing that live today, so that will be done in that particular you can say paper will be covered in the next part. Okay, so don't worry about that. your current affairs will be covered. Akshay sir will be taking care of that. Okay, so anyways, with that I would like to take your leave. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it, because we are putting efforts for you, so that will be very beneficial for you. We are having this polity this week, environment this week, economy this week. These are the weekend programs which are there, which will be covering the summary of the developments which has happened in that particular field. Let's say we have discussed 4 to 5 articles with respect to the polity in the last week. Okay, so we will be discussing that in one video. Considering that, what will happen is that there will be a revision and there will be some extra stuff you might know. Okay, and in the end we are providing the PDF etc. in our Telegram channel, so you can join these Telegram channels. Link is given in the description, so you will be getting the PDFs as well. Okay, so with that I would like to I'll be taking your leave, and please subscribe the channel. Have a nice day. Thank you.